Within the last 24 hours, guys, both Keemstar and especially Leafy now releasing videos about Pokimane. A nuke is what it's being called, trying to attack her for a variety of reasons. I'll be breaking down my thoughts on that probably today or tomorrow to give you guys a lengthier video on my response to the Pokimane drama and her being under fire for some reasons being utterly crazy. Other reasons may be justifiable. We'll talk about that in a future episode. It's now crazy to see that the responses of these figures, especially a guy like Keemstar, targeting people who somewhat defended Pokimane in this. By the way, a lot of gaming personalities and figures out there in the scene have now come out, called out Leafy and Keemstar for an utterly terrible job for these lackluster notions against Pokimane. One of those figures, a well-known figure in the esports and gaming scene, that being Slasher, kind of semi-defended Pokimane by calling out Leafy's video and it trying to be an iDubbbz video 2 out of 10. That being a direct reference to Keemstar's tweet last week where he referred to Pokimane as a 2 out of 10. Many people took that as he was inferring about her looks and the way she looked, rating her 2 out of 10. He has now come forward and said, no, it's actually him rating her content 2 out of 10, which is clearly not how that tweet was going to be taken, because that's what Keemstar does. He instigates reactions, provokes reactions to get impressions, and that's how this world apparently works. So ever since Slasher did make that tweet, I would say semi-defending Pokimane, as I probably will as well. I would like to think when I break down those videos, I'll give it more of a fair assessment on both sides, why some people might be upset with her, and other reasons that Keemstar and Leafy brought up of why they should be upset with her just don't make any sense at all. I'll break that down sometime soon. But with the first reaction and one of the bigger responses out there to Slasher's tweet was brought forth by someone known as Venti, calling out Slasher for some DMs and taken completely out of context, trying to get him in some very big trouble. So let me explain those to you guys. As with that Slasher tweet, all she responded was, "You spamming my IRL friend in DMs nonstop to get in contact with me only to be rejected, and then proceeding to try and cancel me on Twitter over your vendetta of me rejecting you. 2 out of 10. As she shows 2 screenshots. It's first Slasher saying, "Hi Brittany." She replies saying, "I added your tweet into my video." He says, "Oh word, I will watch. Did you get my request through Jess?" Seemingly that's Brittany's friend. She says, "Yep." Slasher goes, "Do you want to go out?" And she says, "I'm not really up for dating." And in the second screenshot, Slasher goes, "I've watched you and seen your stances. This is a serious inquiry for a date, not just a hookup. As someone who is diametrically opposed to many of your beliefs, but agree on others, I figured it would be quite fun." Brittany goes, "I'm not available for dating. Sorry." Slasher goes, "K." And then she shows the end of these messages saying, Slasher going, "The F is wrong with you." Me saying some pretty hilariously cringe milady meme crap doesn't make you any less of an arsehole for not backing down to take 5 seconds to think about what you did. And a lot of people out there taking these messages and thinking the utter worst when they were given without a lot of context, especially with those last couple of messages, people thinking, oh my gosh, did Slasher say what the F is wrong with you because he got rejected from a date? No, his response to that was simply K. When he said what the F is wrong with you and those other things following, it was actually because of Brittany's tweet he was responding to, which she was going live with a stream shortly following Etika's death, and that is why he said, "What the F is wrong with you?" And so out of context, certainly, and why responding to this out of nowhere when Slasher simply calls out Leafy's video for being a 2 out of 10, and I would say defending Pokimane, all of a sudden she tries to somehow cancel or turn people against Slasher because he had asked her for a date 1, maybe 2 times. Is that what we've come to? And yeah, I'll admit it, guys, maybe a bit of weird messages. I've sent weird messages. I think a lot of us have, and not maybe the most proper way to go about asking for a date. But if you think that is in any way taking away from his stance where he defends Pokimane and calls out Leafy's video for being crappy, then what kind of world are we living in? It seems really ill represented when she responds with that kind of stuff and targets him for asking for a date. And then following this, Keemstar decides to use these screenshots. Additional things were worded as well. I'll show those screenshots on screen for you. It's actually Slasher reaching out first to Brittany's friend Jess. That's who he was first interested in, and eventually interested in Brittany instead. So people think, you know, because he had interest in one girl and then the other, you know, take it for what it is. Keemstar taking this, and then of course adding the Florida Mayhem, by the way, an esports organization with no affiliation to Slasher whatsoever, because in those same screenshots you see him offer Jessica a job recommendation as like a referral, not an actual job, by the way, but Keemstar takes this as a chance to call out the organization and say, oh, isn't it creepy that this guy is offering streamers jobs and organizations? let me tell you, a job recommendation and referral is completely separate from a job in itself, just so if you guys are not aware of that as well. And I've also spoken to the Misfits organization who help run the Florida Mayhem. There is no affiliation between Slasher and them. And promptly, their figures have also responded to that same tweet and said, hey, this is not how jobs work. Okay, just because Slasher said this does not mean we're actually going to give her a job. By the way, the girl he is talking about, Jessie, is actually a local hardcore fan of the Florida Mayhem and well known to the organization, even further as to why Slasher would offer that up as a recommendation and referral. Like, what is going on? Why is this even being used? And you wonder why it's so hard to defend people out there, because all of a sudden you're either called a simp or a loser by Leafy, which is incredible, right? That's disheartening to really hear. Or they just try and make up evidence about things that have no relevance to the point you're trying to make and turn it against you and involve esports organizations and try to really harm your career based off some DMs, which I don't think are really that bad. Overall context, yeah, you nitpick a few words here and there, probably not the best way to go about approaching people in the wording used. But still, interest in one girl leading to interest to another, asking for a couple of dates, all of a sudden being used against you because you're defending Pokimane. And it's not just convenience, it's not just coincidence that within a couple of hours of Slasher dissing on Leafy's video, all this stuff comes out, and all of a sudden he's being targeted by these figures who also, by the way, opposite of everyone else, or opposite of Slasher, hate Pokimane. You defend Pokimane, you get bashed by these people. Like, is it that hard to see both sides? I will have a video out there shortly, guys, and I will touch on both sides of the Pokimane case. Not 100% defending her, but not 100% going to be putting her under fire as well, especially for one of the primary accusations being the fact that she has a boyfriend. Like, is that really what we care about now? You get so big in the gaming world, all of a sudden, if you don't tell the entire world about your partner, now you're going to be under fire. This is the part of the internet that just really scares me. And I will defend Slasher on this, and I will defend Pokimane partially as well. But is it that hard to just look at both sides, which clearly everyone out there right now, Keemstar and Leafy included, can't even do themselves? And it really just, it triggers something inside of me that we really can't break down these things from both sides anymore. Is it really that hard? Until next time, hope you guys all enjoy. Drink that water, drink that coffee. I'll catch you guys back here sometime soon.